Welcome back to Taco Bowler Gaming. My name is Taco Bowler. We're going to continue our tutorial series playing as Castile, and we're trying to get the borders that I would suggest that you go for at a minimum down in Africa here as we fight Morocco and Tunis and all of Morocco's vassals, but fortunately not the Mamluks, although they got the Defender of the Faith back, which isn't great. Now I do have a Rebel Uprising flag up here, so let's go ahead and go to that. And this would be in, oh, hey, come on. What is that? ILHEUS. There we go. That is over here. They will have 7,000. I do have 8,000 waiting for them. And it's a really strong army at being 4-4. So I'm not going to worry about that. I don't need to worry about that. We do have Portuguese separatists that are starting to show up, as well as, of course, these guys. But they're at 10 and 20%, so we don't need to worry about that, and we're ready for the 80%, so we're going to continue on from there. Now, these guys are running away. I could attempt to catch them, and maybe even win. It might not be that bad of an idea here, just to get some free war score, but there's always a possibility that these vassals have produced troops that are around here. I'm going to go down here. Why is Aragon not going anywhere? They're told to siege. I don't know why their troops are just sitting at home. Their boats have dealt with stuff, but they have 18,000 troops just sitting there. Not cool. This is free war score, but there's always a possibility that the vassals have formed up troops and are waiting in the fog of war down here, ready to jump on me. So that just seems like a risk that's just not needed. These four can't actually stop me. So I'm going to actually just tell my troops to head right on over here, because I can't get to here, so we have to take this fort next. So let's just go take that fort next. And we'll maintain enough of a force that we can hopefully defend ourselves against this 17 stack if necessary. As it grows bigger, you'll see that this 8 stack was there ready to defend, so that would have been a much more difficult fight in the Highlands, which the Highlands does create a problem for the attacker. So that's what you got to worry about. It's always what you got to worry about. Now I also have to worry about this. I'm going to actually send these troops up. Ooh, nice. Center of trade level in Havana is there. So they're at 21 now and continue to grow. Oh, hey, Aragon finally decided to show up. There you go. So if they decide to move, they've taken the fort. If they decide to move this way, I want to have taken this so that I can bring my troops up here, hop on a boat quickly, and, you know, deal with all of that. Now, they should, I'm going to hit A to detach the damage, take the damage, and bring them right into port right here. That was the rebels that we expected. They should be worried about Fez. And Fez is in the mountains, so theoretically, as long as they don't take it quickly, I shouldn't have to worry about it. You can see the rebels are done, so we can actually move those rebels to the next one to worry about, except all my transports are over here. So instead, we'll just tell them to move up here. That should be enough. But yeah, they should be headed for the capital. So as long as they don't take it before we're done, then we don't have to worry about it. Now, Havana has become self-sustaining, so let's talk about colonial nations. Once again, we have 5 in the Caribbean region. We have this 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, we won't form a colonial nation immediately because this one's not done yet. Once that's done, we'll be ready. Now, I could get more, and you certainly want to have a colonial nation up at 10 as quickly as you can. But I also need more colonial nations. And I would advise to just let that 5 be enough for now and start the next colonial nation, and only when you have set up all the colonial nations that you want to get set up do you then go back and help them get bigger with your colonists. There's other ways to help them get bigger, and we'll talk about that once the colonial nation completely forms, once this colony in Santo Domingo is done. But right now, I need to set up the colony here in Colombia. I already have 2, so I'm going to set up a few more. And I'm going to try and set it up next to one of the provinces so that it's a little bit easier. Well, yeah, because the centers of trade in these places, Panama is a center of trade, I think. It's a natural harbor. I definitely want this one to be where I'm going to send that colonist. So I need to wait 1 day for the colonist to show back up, and then I'm going to send my colonist right there. And furthermore, I'm going to take this 4, and I'm going to send them over there to deal with the natives. So now I have this army heading up to deal with any rebels that might pop up. Of course, they're at only 10%, so likelihood's not strong. And then I have the 4 headed over here to deal with the 1,500 of the natives. And I do think I'm just going to take that one. And then 2, 3, 4, 5. You try and get there. I'll probably do Panama next, and then just generally head for things. Although I am going to want to get down here, so I may do this one as number 4, and then just do Sinu as number 5. And then once I have the colonial nation created, and I don't have to worry about the nation's religion or the nation's culture, then I'll attack here for these 3. That's probably the smartest plan. So we'll do this one for the center of trade. We'll do this one to connect to Musia, and then a 5th one just to be a 5th one. And once we have the colonial nation, then we'll attack Musia and get ready to attack Carib as well. That's the general plan. And I have, constantly checked my money, and I have, with war taxes on, I'm up to 428, which means I don't have enough, actually 228 with a full colonist going, 2 full colonists going, so I don't have enough to get that 3rd colony. I would if I wasn't doing the mercenaries, and this might be a time to get rid of the mercenaries, but I'm at war. I need those mercenaries, so after the war I may consider to get rid of the mercenaries so that I can be running an extra colony. And that's a cost calculation that is actually does make some sense. So you notice that they're heading over to Fez, and that is still a battle I can win because I will be the defender in the mountains. But I'm definitely wanting to take Talisman. What would that be? How do I pronounce that? Tilimsan. Before I would bring this army back over to deal with that. And we have completed the completed the conversion, and I cannot do this one because we are working on making that into a core. We're almost done with that. Now I can take an idea here. This would give me an extra merchant, which would be good. But I am knowing that I have to have 324 power at the end of this war. So I think that I'm going to actually wait to take this idea. I'm not going to take it right now, and I'll only take it if I still have enough power to take it after I've paid the coring cost of what I want to take in this war. So I'm going to bring this back out, and I'm actually going to take them over here. And this will allow me to be blockading pretty much Tunis's entire coastline. And that's war score against Tunis. So right now I have 11 war score. I still can't demand what I want because I don't have a fort in the area. So I have to take Kef, but we're close to being able to do this stuff. Now, interesting that Tunis can get here. I didn't expect that. They shouldn't have been able to walk through this area. But maybe it was because it was Tunis and not Morocco. Now you'll notice that they have 10, 21, 31. They have another 6 over here for 37, 50,000 troops. So this does suddenly become a fight that I'm not actually sure I can win, especially since they're going to be piling in. So let's talk about army fights here quickly. I would have the advantage in general. I would have the advantage in number of troops. I'd have the advantage in terrain. However, I guess not necessarily a number of troops, but I would at the start. However, they are going to have the ability to just bring in troops as we go. And so my troops would start there, but then I would not have any reinforcements. Maybe this 7-stack if Aragon decided to play along. They would then be able to get all of these guys in reinforcements. 4 different armies would come in at different times to reinforce. And every time that they come in, they bring a fresh set of morale for those troops. And the armies that were present have the ability to retreat and remove their bad morale from the fight. So one way, if you're actually outnumbered, or if it's even numbers and you're not sure you can win, if you have the ability to stagger in your armies, that actually can help you win a close fight, because your morale would be boosted every time there's reinforcements, whereas their morale would just be constantly being beaten down by all the fighting, and they're not getting reinforced, they're not getting helped with new troops to help that morale out. In this case, that would be going against me. I'll beat this 10-stack. I might even beat the 10-stack plus this 11-stack. But once this 10-stack comes back in, and this 13-stack would come in, and this 6-stack would come in, I would be beaten down, and I would actually lose that fight. So now that I have this fort, I'm just going to move right on over to the next one, which is actually, I believe, the war goal. Oh, hey, it's not the war goal. So we'll quickly take the war goal with the 6 and then move over here. And I'm not going to worry about this. Hopefully they can, they won't take that too quickly. The big goal right now is just going to be to force them out of the war. Now, these guys rose up very quickly, but we had our 4,000 there, so it was not a big deal. I could attack the natives for only 3 military power. Let's check and see when the next military tech is. Yeah, it's a long time away. I'm not going to worry about that power. I don't need to worry about that power. So we'll just do that and not have to worry about it. And then, since I know the other ones I'm going to be doing, we'll go ahead and attack there too. And that should be no problem at all. Alright, I've won the Siege of Kef. So now I have a fort in the area. But I don't have enough score. They're very close. 39, 36, 4, 75 against. This is occupied by Tunis. I could go save that. But I think I'm going to actually come over here and sit on their capital. That in and of itself is going to be a lot of war score. It is only a level 1 fort. You can tell because it has that crown, which indicates, this is only a fort because it's a capital. I'm going to go ahead and move this army over now that I've taken the war goal. I don't want them to be exposed. If this was a colony that I'm going to keep forever instead of for my colonial nation, I would definitely take the tax here. But since it's going to be my colonial nation, I just want to get the colony up and running as quickly as possible, and I don't really care how much tax they get, so I'm just going to gain the 100 population. Now I have just gotten onto their fort, onto their capital, and already, instead of 36 reasons for, I have 53, because that occupied and besieged provinces. So that's really, really big. In fact, I'm going to actually split my navy and come over here so that we are now blockading even more. And you notice that was worth 1 reason. The fort here in the capital should fall relatively quickly. In fact, I'm going to build a spy network in Tunis to help that go quicker. I'm going to fabricate my claim. If you go, this is new for 1.30. If you go to the diplomatic menu of a nation and go down here, when you have enough, you can click fabricate claim, and it'll tell you what the development is for each of these provinces. And as long as it's one that I want to take, which right now is Sine or Sine, whatever that is, Wolof, Kayor, and Trazia, then I would say the highest development is the one you want to claim, because the ones you have claims for will not cost Diplo power in the peace deal, and so you want to have the least amount of Diplo power available. You only need the one claim, and I'm going to go ahead and bring that diplomat home by right-clicking the name of the diplomat and hitting C to confirm that I want to bring him home. This had the added benefit of adding a blockade to this fort. For some reason, Tunis is able to get over here when I wasn't. I'm really not sure why. They should not have been able to get past Fez, but because they were able, for some reason, to get over here, to come up and around here, because I didn't have this yet. That's why. So Tunis was started over here. I didn't have this yet, so it was their zone of control. So they went around me. They went over here, and they were able to get on Fez, and then over to Tangiers, ignoring both Fez and Quetta because it's bordering forts. When I take this, I'm going to definitely have to figure out if I want Tangiers or Quetta more, and it's definitely Quetta I want because Highlands has a defensive bonus and Drylands does not. So when I take Tangiers, I'm going to delete this fort so that the zone of control is a little bit better. And honestly, if I really wanted to do things, taking Fez at some point would be a good idea, and just using this mountain fort as the fort for everything. That would be deleting a fort in Quetta and for Tangiers. Although having the fort on the strait is a good idea, because that's, again, just that little bit less you have to worry about. Just a little bit less you have to worry about someone blocking the strait because they happen to have enough. And you'll notice that the fort is pretty far down in the capital. Also, my lovely personal union in Aragon has finally decided to do something. And they not only took this province, but they also occupied this province here. So now, the occupied and besieged provinces is really, really high. And so we have 68 out of 470 against. Also, this counts for occupied and besieged provinces, as well as there's another thing in here. Rebels. There are revolts in Tunis. That's plus 16. So this firing helped me out. So I'm going to actually move right over here with this 3-stack. And hopefully the rebels don't decide to attack either me or that. But all I'm doing here is just trying to add to that occupied and besieged provinces. This is now another occupied province. And they're actually willing to do it now. So that's all I was wanting to do. And so this will get this to Algiers and will break the Tunisians up with the Ottomans. So that is wonderful. So we're going to bring these units, and I'm going to bring them right over here, trying to avoid this 11 stack. I don't want to fight another nation's rebels. We're going to bring our navies together, deal with whatever Morocco's navies have decided to be doing, and then we'll spread them out across Morocco to get that same naval bonuses that we had in here. We'll leave half our light ships here. I know that Morocco's navy is here. So I'm going to leave my combat, my 2 heavy ships, my 11 light ships. I'm going to bring my transports down here for blockading purposes. I am noticing that they have that, so I'm probably not going to just leave these here. I'm happy that Aragon's decided to come over and attach itself. I'm going to tell Aragon, hey, don't attach to either of these. They're not in danger. Just attach to that one. And now, what we're going to try and do is convince Morocco it wants to give up. We are a ways away from that, but by taking as many forts as we can, by occupying as many provinces as we can force them to say, hey, maybe it's not the best idea to be here. So one of the things I can do is I'm going to move here. I know that, aha, there we go. Draha is taken, so we're going to actually not move there. we're going to move everyone over to here. And they're running away scared. So, let's see. You guys go here, and you go there. You stay here. Now, if you're dealing in this situation where you're fighting someone who has vassals, then if you occupy them, that is worth more to you and matters more to them than occupying their vassals. However, occupying their vassals still gives you war score, so it's helpful. But if you're having to decide between one or the other, you definitely want to occupy them themselves. I'm going to give these provinces that I'm going to give to Algiers eventually. And I'm just going to give that to them now. So I'm going to move down here. I'm going to actually move this way. And I'm going to give that to Algiers as well. And for now, that's going to be it. Once I have changed that, that is no longer, you know, going to me. It would be going to Algiers, so I do have to reset the peace deal. But, yeah, that way it'll just do it automatically. I don't have to worry about transitioning it or anything like that. So now what I'm staring at is they are trying to attack my lovely friend here, and he's running away. So I'm going to actually try and help him out, move these troops in, see if I can even convince them not to move, although it's only a 2-stack. So no, don't worry about that. Although Algiers is taking this, so that shouldn't be a problem. So yeah, come on in there and worry about it. If nothing else, we can help them siege this down. I will take this 5 and move him off. Now, I know that this is where I left my combat, and I think that that combat fleet I left will win this fight. I'm going to come over here to sail with my 3, and I'm going to move the 18 on down here, and I'm going to force this fight. You force a navy fight by taking the province that the enemy navy is sitting in. And I also notice that this no longer is blockading anything because I've occupied all those areas, so I'm going to move them over to help in the fight as well. I have an advisor that died at some point. Discipline, I think, is better than manpower. I'm not hurting for manpower. If you are hurting for manpower, manpower advisor is a good way to get manpower, but I'm not hurting right now. So this 18 being down here is just to guard against anyone coming up and having any ideas, as my 3 here. Really, you only need 2. But I was just too lazy to deal with that. Is going to occupy sail, and that's going to force the fight. And we're going to win this fight. I feel very, very confident that we're going to win this fight. I'm going to move this 3-stack over here. I am aware that their army has been moving around in this general area, so I do want to keep that 18 nearby. But we'll deal with that as we go. And you can see we won that fight. The navy is completely gone. We actually captured some ships out of that, so that's really good. And basically, I'm going to set this up. Yeah, they're still not... We have taken all the ports on this coast, so we're going to move on down here. Combine here. We have a very large navy now. We're going to detach the damaged. Take that damaged and send them here. That's a good idea. Now, again, what I was talking about earlier. A level 1 fort, by the way, does not have zone of control. That's why I can just walk past it. I can beat this 10. They're generalists in the mountains, so I will lose stuff, but because they don't have a general, my maneuver pip, my 1 maneuver pip and my general, I can win this fight. However, this 14 stack is sitting back here. And so they would come in, they would even out the numbers, 21 to 24. Their general would make me suddenly lose dice rolls because of the terrain. And their extra morale coming in late would matter. Now, it's possible that Aragon would come from over here, but it's not guaranteed. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to stay here, actually. I'm going to let this 3 finish this occupation, and then we'll move the whole army down to Anfa, and then figure out what they're going to do here. Because at this point, we're going to have Tophalit completely occupied. And it's always worth checking to see, hey, how close are they to giving in? Now again, same thing. I have the ability to get an administrative tech, but I'm going to spend the power on the 256 I need for my provinces, and then before that I would get this entire idea group before I would get that particular technology at the moment, because I'm not in danger of going too behind. Okay, there we go. Santo Domingo has become self-sustaining, so in one day, we have a new colonial nation. These 5 have now become a brand new colonial nation, and you are allowed to name it anything. The game does not censor anything, but YouTube still will, so I'm going to be, very nice here. I do recommend not naming it anything weird. On your first few playthroughs, I recommend just naming it for the region that it is, so that you can just remember things and remember where that is. But you can name it, whatever you want. Russia's missile silos. I'm typing badly. And it would name it Russia's missile silos. And each one of these would have Russia's missile silos. Very, very small in their placement until the nation grew out. But I would just recommend naming this Caribbean right now. Maybe Spanish Caribbean or Castilian Caribbean if you want. It automatically goes to Cuba for Spain. I don't know what it would be for Portugal or France or anything like that, but just naming it for the region. We'll name this one Colombia or Spanish Colombia, something like that. And so you can see that they do, Spanish Caribbean, tiny little letters there, but it is there. Now I have a colonist ready to go, and I know that this one has been made ready, and we'll attack natives here to make this one ready as well. But here's where the trick comes in. So I am making 4.59 right now. And I really don't know what I would be making if it didn't have 4 taxes on. But probably at least the 0.59 might go away, but that would be fine. A colonial nation has ideas. They get colonial stuff from the beginning. And you'll notice that they have expansion ideas. They're all done, which means that they have 2 colonists. And a colonial nation idea group, the little stuff up here, is an extra colonist as well. They have colonists. They can utilize those colonists. However, you'll notice the autonomy in these places is not great. They're very poor right now. And in fact, I can probably come in here. Yeah. So their income is only 1.38. They're only spending 0.38 right now, but as they grow an army because we're at war, that might change. So they're only making 0.99, which means they're not going to spend 2 ducats a month to colonize something. They're not going to use their colonist. So I could come in and I could create a 3rd colony to help grow the nation. Or I could pay them 2 by giving subsidies. And we'll bring that up to 2 ducats. and I'm just going to do that for a long time, let's say 100 years. And not only will this make the nation like me more, but usually they will use that 2 ducats on a colonist. So now I have 2.59. Once this guy gets here in 125 days, it'll go down to 0.59. And I might have trouble after the war, but hopefully soon they will send a colonist to someplace nearby and actually begin to colonize even more of the area for me. And that actually makes it a little bit cheaper to colonize, because instead of costing 4 for that 3rd colony, it only costs me 2, because I'm using their colonist. And you can do that with every colonial nation, and I highly suggest doing that. And in fact, in my situation, I will eventually be deleting some of these mercenaries, specifically this free company especially, that doesn't give me a general, just simply to have enough money to subsidize my colonial nations. So I'm going to just quickly... now I don't need this network on Tunis any longer. The spy network here in Morocco has grown very large. So we're at 80% war score now against Morocco. They're very, very close to being willing to do that. So I have an option here. I could utilize these troops to attack this group here in the mountains, while I utilize these 21 to attack this group. Again, my worry was that they would reinforce each other, but if I attack them both at the same time, they can't reinforce each other. Or I can not fight anyone and trust that I'm going to take Sus here in a little bit, and I can just keep going down. We'll come down here, we'll go here. I'll provide my 1 siege to here. And just try and get that extra 6 there. Probably would have been okay to get the fights happening, but oh hey, no, okay. Now this is not a wise fight on behalf of Aragon or whoever it was. But we now have 93% war score. They're willing to do this. They're probably willing to even give the extra in money, at least some extra money, because this is really, really bugged out. There we go. Yep, 100 war score, peace deal. Nobody of importance cares. We have enough administrative power to do it. There we go. And ideally, if you could give Algiers, you know, this land that Morocco currently owns, the Safi trade node, if you give that all to Algiers, that wouldn't be a terrible idea, especially giving them at least, you know, this one and this one, giving them centers of trade. That way, you know, they'll have a lot of money, and they could be a very strong person here to help defend against this group if they decide to come over here. But this is the main important one, so I'm going to delete the fort, like I said, because this is the land that is in the Sevilla trade node. And so these are the 5 you want to have. It's also a mission. You want them to be under your control, Castile, and then Algiers or whatever vassal you have down here that is of the Islamic faith, so they don't have to worry about religious problems. Give them the rest of this land. Any rest of the land that you take down here, you want to take some land over here in Tunis, just give it to Algiers. It won't be that big of a deal. I do have a mission fulfilled, and that was to conquer Morocco here. Continue Reconquista. We will gain further claims on Algiers, which may cause problems in the future. But the big one is that we get morale of armies plus 15% for 15 years, which is crazy for Spain to get, and manpower recovery speed as well. We are going to worry about the corruption growth. Let's go ahead and just raise our corruption up. We're going to lose some money for a while. That's fine. We'll lower down the forts, mothball the forts, and we'll bring this one back up because it's in the area we just conquered. We'll bring my troops back and sort them out by mercenary and non-mercenary. We will utilize fabricated claim for we'll fabricate both of these. Oh, hey, I need a lot more claim. 33%, it's not that big a deal. So we got a claim on all of this land here and all of this land here, which, you know, isn't that great actually. Can I do this? No, that's a DLC mechanic. Never mind. So I'm over my time. I'm going to go ahead and leave this one here. A good bit of progress has been done here, which is really good. We figured out a colonial nation, and you just okay. So yeah, I paid them the money, and not only are they doing one, they're actually doing two, which is really, really nice. When they have started, they will keep going, even if they go into debt. So I could come back and say, actually, no, I want that money back. But I'm just going to let that be until they are about 10. When they have about 10 provinces, you can probably take that money back, and they'll have enough to keep going. Certainly if their balance minus expenses is still that, you know, still has that money there. If their balance is over what you're paying them, you can take that money back. But right now, we're going to keep that money in their hands while it is going. But I've been Taco Baller Gaming. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. I hope you have enjoyed this series so far. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe down below. That'll tell me that things are going well, and I will see you next time.